Bonjour, my name is Samantha Decker, and I'm a 2009 graduate of SUNY Oswego, and I'm a 7th grade French teacher at Maple Avenue Middle School in Saratoga Springs, New York. I have a dual certification in French and Spanish to grades 7 through 12, which is something I began pursuing when I was a freshman at Oswego. Although Oswego can only recommend you to be certified in one concentration area, if you do the legwork and take the required number of courses while you're still in school, it makes the process of getting certified once you graduate a lot easier. It's a decision that I've never once regretted. And although I've spent my entire career so far teaching only French, my certification in Spanish has allowed me to offer some summer remediation courses in Spanish. In the spring of 2006, I took a course called Paris, a Global City, which was a unique, condensed study abroad opportunity where classmates and I studied the history of Paris from its very beginnings to the present day, and then we spent the spring break in Paris. This is just one of many study abroad options available to SUNY Oswego students. I have been a French teacher at Maple Avenue Middle School since 2010, and I was very lucky to get this job only 6 months after graduating from Oswego. This is actually the middle school I attended, and I love teaching in the community I grew up in and that my students are now growing up in. I'm also the advisor for the French Club, and this photo was taken last fall or 2 falls ago when students painted flags of French-speaking countries in sidewalk chalk outside the school. Unfortunately, with the onset of COVID this year, our clubs are meeting virtually, so we can't do a lot of the fun activities that we've done in the past, but my students have been great at coming up with ideas for new fun activities that can be done via Zoom. I've always been passionate about using technology to enhance teaching and learning, and this year with our hybrid and virtual models of teaching, this has become even more important as many of my students are now learning from home. I talk a lot about technology on my blog, The French Corner, which I'm going to show you in just a second. I also really enjoy incorporating food into the curriculum, and unfortunately, that has been a lot more challenging this year. We have still experimented with food, but it has all been done virtually, but I am hopeful that soon we can bring food back into the classroom where it belongs as a very important part of the cultural experience for students of foreign languages. This is my blog, thefrenchcorner.net, where I share ideas for activities, assessments, and other things I've had success with in my classroom. Now, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about my hobby, which has become a second profession for me, my photography. I actually got into photography when I was still at Oswego, and this is a photo I took by the shore of Lake Ontario when I was in my last semester. I took this photo of a man feeding birds by the bank of the Seine River on the Global Cities trip I took in March of 2006. And I took this with a disposable camera because my real camera had actually broken. I incorporate my photography of the French-speaking world into my teaching. I have some photos from my travels in my classroom, and I also include photos in speaking prompts, writing prompts, and other activities. And I share with students that I'm passionate about photography, and it is a way to connect with them, since some of them are too. I like to photograph my food because I like to show students some of the different types of cuisine that they can eat in the French-speaking world. And a lot of American students are aghast at the thought of eating snails, but I like to encourage them to try new things and share with them that I actually find them quite delicious. A lot of my students are usually really surprised to see how small the Mona Lisa actually is. And I've also shared my photos from the province of Quebec with students as they have an opportunity to travel there as 8th graders with their 8th grade French teacher. And as I came along on one of their trips recently, I captured these photos to show my own students what they could look forward to. Things like dog sledding, making maple taffy in the snow, visiting the famous ice hotel, and the Chateau Frontenac. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't include a photo of Montreal, which is another place I got to visit when I was a student at SUNY Oswego. In 2018, my school sent me and my colleague to New Orleans for the annual ACTFL conference, which is the American Council on the Teaching of Foreign Languages. And we not only got to connect with other educators, but we got to explore the culture and history of this wonderful gem of the French-speaking world. And 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to travel to Saint-Pierre-et-Miquelon, which is a French territory off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada. And I love telling my students about this place because most of them have never heard of it. And once they hear about how neat and unique it is, a lot of them share that they have added it to their bucket list and they would like to travel there too someday. If you'd like to see more of my photography, not just from the French-speaking world, but all over the US, Canada, and Europe, please visit my blog at ttgphoto.com. If you'd like to contact me, you can reach out to me on one of my blogs, frenchquarter.net, ttgphoto.com, or touch base with me on Twitter at @sdeckerlow. Thanks for watching.